Welcome back to Two Film Buffs, happy Halloween, and here are the top horror movies based on true events. The Exorcist. The Exorcist is based on a book which is based on the real life of a boy named Roland Doe, who was possessed by demons in 1949. The real exorcism was so scary that there have been books written on the people who only just witnessed it. If you haven't seen The Exorcist yet, this story will truly give you goosebumps for all of the real reasons. It stars Linda Blair, Ellen Burstyn, and Jason Miller. And you can obviously also stream this movie on Amazon Prime right now. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This movie is loosely based on America's famous serial killer, Ed Gein, who had 9 human skin masks at the time of his arrest. Bit messed up, isn't it? I mean, I say a bit messed up, that is really messed up. This movie made abandoned houses and slasher films popular in the mainstream media. The movie is directed by Tobe Hooper. The movie grossed more than $30 million in the United States and Canada and stars Marilyn Burns, Gunnar Hansen, and Edwin Neal. A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, if you really love slasher films, you gotta watch Nightmare on Elm Street. The making of this movie was inspired by a group of refugees who had actually died in their sleep whilst having a nightmare. The medical reports said that there was nothing wrong with them physically. This supernatural horror film won the People's Choice Award for favourite horror movie, and you can get to watch Freddy Krueger in all his glory on Amazon Prime. Child's Play. I know, a killer toy, right? Doesn't sound too believable, but the script was actually based on a nurse who allegedly put a voodoo curse on author Robert Eugene Otto, which transformed one of his childhood dolls into a nighttime menace. Now, I think by now, killer toys and voodoo dolls aren't too far away from the mainstream media, but Child's Play really set it in stone to be kind of the first iconic one. The Amityville Horror. The movie is based on the events that took place in 1975 at 112 Ocean Avenue, the new house of the Lurtz family in Amityville. It has been a very discussed case among paranormal activity researchers. On November 13th in 1974, a 23-year-old man shot and killed his parents and 4 siblings in their bed at 112 Ocean Avenue. The man initially claimed that it was a mob hit that killed his family, but then later confessed to the murders and cleaning up the evidence. He was convicted to a second-degree murder and sentenced 6 life sentences. Fortunately for us, the man died in prison in 2021. After the murders, George and Kathy Lurtz moved into the house with their children and their dog, but they fled just after 28 days, claiming to be terrorized by paranormal activity. After this, the Lurtz family invited the Warrens, who you will know from movies like The Conjuring, who are actually based on real-life people, Ed and Lorraine Warren, to try and come and cleanse the house of evil spirits. The Conjuring. Ed and Lorraine Warren are real-life paranormal investigators who claim that this case was exceptionally hard to deal with. The same goes for The Conjuring 2, which was actually based on the Enfield poltergeist where I grew up in London. Which, telling you now, growing up in London, hearing this story that happened for real life was way scarier than any movie that I had watched, because this was real and it had real witnesses from the outside of the house. Walking past that house honestly gives you chills. Fire in the Sky from 1993. Can you guess how it would feel to be captured by aliens and lie in a cocoon next to the corpses of other people from Earth? Well, Travis Walton alleges that aliens actually captured him in 1975, and this movie revolves around exactly what happened. Annabelle from 2014. Now we're going back to the possessed dolls that I spoke about before. The opening scene of this movie is just like that of The Conjuring, because it's from the Conjuring universe, technically. And the story continues with the scariest possessed doll that there has ever been. It is also true that people who taunt the doll in the museum face near-death or fatal accidents. And if you go onto the Sam and Colby page on YouTube, you can see the guys going to visit this doll. And it is quite scary. I mean, I personally wouldn't go. The Dentist from 1966. One thing we know for sure is that after seeing this movie, your next visit to the dentist is going to be really hard. It is based on a dentist who turned out to be an actual serial killer, and the movie is about a successful but mentally unstable dentist who goes on a murder spree in Los Angeles. Wolf's Creek. Now, everyone grew up with your mother and father pretty much telling you, do not talk to strangers, and this movie is loosely based on 2 men, Ivan Millett and Bradley John Murdoch, and their crimes. This movie will truly send shivers down your spine and make you think twice about asking locals for help next time you're lost. The Poltergeist. Directed again by Tobe Hooper, this movie is loosely based on the paranormal disturbances of Lucille Herman and her family, who suffered when they moved into their dream home. The family admitted to hearing strange noises and thought local teenagers were playing pranks on them, but it wasn't so. The house was actually possessed by demons. A bit more of a normal one here, Open Water. The movie that will make you rethink going scuba diving in groups. Two divers that were accidentally left behind in the Great Barrier Reef when their boat leaves them, where they mistakenly done a wrong head count. Where unfortunately, these two poor people had to struggle to survive in shark-infested waters. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is by far the most scariest thing I can ever fucking think of. Like, if I had the option in between Voodoo Doll of Chucky and a great white shark, or any type of killer shark in open water, in shark-infested waters, I am choosing that little toy 10 times out of 10. And finally, we have Requiem from 2006. This German horror film is based on the true story of Anneliese Michel, a German woman who was allegedly possessed by 6 or more demons and had to undergo over 60 exorcism rites. She had epilepsy and died from the malnutrition. It is actually a very sad story, but I do recommend you watch this film if you do like foreign movies. But that's all we got time for today, guys. Thank you for watching the video. Quick question before I leave. Do you prefer your horror movies based on real life events, or are they just too close to home and take you out of the movie world that we all love? Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Oh, and happy Halloween.